Hey everyone, today we're dealing with a Whirlpool dryer that sounds just a little bit south of heaven. It's making some sort of noise. There's nothing in the drum that would cause it to have a terrible sound. So what we're going to do is get into the dryer, and I want to show you how to do a few things. I want to show you how to check the blower wheel, check the rollers, check the belt, check the pulley, all the things that would cause it typically to have a terrible noise like a boy band. And if you need the parts for this, usually they come in a kit with all the rollers, belt, and pulley. I happen to have a link for them in the description, and if you buy it from the channel, it does help me make more videos. So let's get inside this dryer and figure out what we should look at to solve the issue. And the good thing here is you only need really, for the most part, 2 screwdrivers. You need a 11-in-1 that has your 1/4 inch and Phillips head, and then a small thin flat blade as well. That's as simple as it's going to get to fix a dryer. So let's get to it. To begin to access the heating system at the rear of the unit, there are 2 hex screws. On this unit, they are 5/16, but they could be different depending on your model slightly. Usually they are smaller, like a 1/4 inch on many units. Once you have the screws removed, pull the top back and lift it up and out. One thing to look for initially is at the drum belt. Is there any damage to it? If it's frayed, it could be some of the culprit that your unit is having regarding noise. To remove it though, we have to remove the front of the unit, so let's go ahead and do that. This is what the control board looks like on this unit, and yours could look a little bit different depending on model, and there could be a cross brace that the power board sits on that will need removed for you to access the rest of the unit. At this point though, make sure that the unit has been unplugged before you disconnect any wires going to the machine. Next, there are going to be 2 screws that hold the interface onto the front of the washing machine. They're self-drilling screws on this model, and you need to remove both of them. Next, there is a small press mount cable tie that needs removed on the front bracing of the dryer. If there are any other cross pieces and screws, you would have to remove them as well, but again, we don't have that on this model. Next, locate the harness that connects from the board to the front interface and remove it as you see here. You'll then rock the interface towards the front and then up. The wire that you removed from the control board is going to need fed through the metal bulkhead, and then the interface can be fully removed. To start removing the dryer front, there are some screws underneath, and I'm going to go ahead and tilt the dryer to show you how to remove these screws, but moving it like this is optional. There are 4 screws that hold the bottom of the dryer on place, although it looks like there are only 3 screws. Use a 1/4 inch screwdriver to remove the screws from the bottom of the unit like you see here. Go ahead and place the dryer on the floor again and open the door of the dryer. There are 2 very large screws at the bottom of the filter housing, and they are Phillips head screws. Go ahead and unclip the wire harness that goes to the door switch. The harness may be located here by the control board, and it's rather easy to remove. The front is 3 screws on the top of the dryer front. Note that once you remove these, the front may want to lurch forward, so I would be ready and remove the middle one last. As it pulls forward, you would need to route the unclipped door switch through the bulkhead carefully, and then once you have that done, lift up and out on the unit, and the front should be off. Go ahead then and remove the moisture sensor connector located in the lower right corner of the bulkhead like you see here. And on this particular model of unit, the front bracing at the top needs removed. There are 4 screws on the front that you will need to take off. 1 on the top corners of the bracing, and then 1 screw on the front side on the left and right, and they're 1/4 inch like you see. Once the screws are out, you can lift up and out the cross bracing from the chassis. There are small tabs on each side that kind of lock it in place, and you'll need some careful navigation here. Screws on the blower housing that need removed. In the case of this unit, only the 1 bottom screw at the very bottom needs removed, but you could also remove 3 additional ones that would allow you to take the blower assembly off separate from the bulkhead if you would like to. In the example, I'm going to remove the 3 screws around the blower housing and the 1 on the bottom. Also, depending on the model, there may be a center blower housing screw to remove, and again, it varies from model to model. And then you're going to finally remove the 4 bulkhead screws from around the edges of the unit like you see here. As a note, I did film this before removing the front bracing. Some models may actually need that bracing removed, others may not, and it will vary from model to model. This particular kind of unit, the bulkhead rests on 2 small arms, which once all the screws are removed, you'll need to lift up on the bulkhead and then out to remove it for reference. And again, to remove the bulkhead, you're going to lift up and then pull forward and out. The drum rests on 2 roller wheels on the front that can kind of catch and prevent you from easily taking this off. so it may take you sliding the drum around slightly to dislodge the bulkhead from the drum. Before we take the machine further apart, one thing to note is the blower fan on the left side of the unit. At this point, the issue of noise could be found right here in the blower housing, either on the fan side or the bulkhead side that we had just removed. Also, thing you could do here is if something's dislodged in the blower, you could simply rotate the drum at this point with the belt intact. Do you hear any noise once the blower is cleaned out? If not, it's possible you've already found a problem, but let's go ahead and get into the unit further. Next, we want to deal with the pulley, but a word of warning here. This dryer has a lot of metal around the edges, so be cautious and wear gloves and maybe even a long sleeve shirt to prevent cuts and damage. The idler pulley is located behind the blower wheel here, and here is what the general view you may see when looking into the dryer. To remove the belt from the idler, you need to pull the idler to the left side of the chassis to relieve tension, then pull the belt rearward to free it from the idler, and allow the pulley then to release and relax. From here, you need to ensure that the belt gets moved up and away from the motor pulley itself, and you can see how this works so you can remove the drum from the unit. To remove the drum, pull up on the belt and then pull the drum towards the front of the unit. Note that some units could have cutouts around the edges that allow the drum to come out easier, some do not, and the belt can kind of get caught around the edges of the dryer chassis, so be cautious with that. With the drum out, you can inspect the inside of the unit for any potential issues that could have caused the noise. Often, noise will have a visual representation of it, such as items obstructing the drum, flat spots on roller wheels, damaged roller wheel shafts, wheels that don't move, a damaged idler pulley, or other such things. The very top of the bulkhead is also one other thing I would check at this point. In some serious cases, the felt on the rear of the dryer drum has been damaged, causing metal-on-metal contact here. You may need to replace the rear bulkhead, drum, or drum felt depending on the situation. Next, let's go and check the idler pulley. Does it look damaged? Is it easy to move? If you had any issues taking the belt off earlier, this could be part of the problem. The idler should be clean with no damage like you see here. If there's a flat spot or damage, it needs replaced. Now, if you had to replace it, you can usually just buy the roller wheel in a kit I'll show you in a minute. Use a flat-bladed screwdriver to pry the plastic triangle retainer away, and once that retainer is removed, you can take the pulley off and replace it with a new one, and again, I'll have a link to the replacement in the description for reference. Next, make sure that the unit is simply cleaned. Use a vacuum cleaner, and oftentimes you can find all sorts of small obstructions inside the unit that maybe you can't even see that would cause the issue. Key areas to clean would be around the roller wheels and the blower wheel for any obstructions. Next, go ahead and inspect the roller wheels on the unit. You can see here that there's a ton of pet hair wrapped around the shafts. This could have caused rollers not to move during operation, causing noise issues or a flat spot developed. To remove the wheel, you simply need to take a small flat-bladed screwdriver and remove the triangle retainer just like the pulley. Then pull the roller off. This will let you clean or replace the entire roller assembly. For what it's worth, you can buy a maintenance kit that has the belt, 4 roller wheels, and a pulley for one price from different stores. This is a choice parts kit that my business sells, and I will have a link to it in the description. If you buy it, it would help me make more videos like this in the future to support the channel. To install a new roller, you simply place it back onto the shaft after it's been cleaned, then install a new clean triangle retainer on the roller shaft. Then there is a small metal retainer that is included with the kit that goes onto the end of the shaft. The easiest way to press this into place is use like a 7/16 screwdriver or a deep well socket to press it into place. You're going to repeat the same action needed on all the rollers of the unit. In the case of this unit, everything's absolutely covered in pet hair. There are some really nasty areas on these, and I'm not taking any chances, and I'm replacing each of them. Now, if you found rust or grime on the roller shafts, you may want to clean them with sandpaper, or in very dire situations, you may even want to replace the roller shafts, but that is somewhat rare on this unit, and only to be done if the shaft is bent or majorly damaged that would cause the roller not to contact the dryer drum. Next, you would have to do the same thing with the rollers on the bulkhead. It will have 2 roller wheels that are behind the front. You need to do this exact same steps, clean and inspect the shafts, then replace with the new rollers and the clips. I think in total, I only spent about 8 or 9 minutes replacing all the rollers on this machine, as I got really good at it by the end. Just don't forget those metal retainers that go on after the plastic clips. Next, the belt in this kit was oddly wider than the unit that was on this from the beginning, but it was the same width of belt and in much better shape. I'm unsure if the belt that was on this was more narrow intentionally, but the new belt worked perfectly. The only other thing I can think of in this type of drum that could make noise would be the blower housing piece that attaches to the bulkhead that was like the metal cover. Make sure it's in good shape and nothing's hiding in it. Oh yeah, also make sure to check the motor pulley and the motor itself. Those two could be culprits on the unit. Make sure to inspect both of them and replace if needed. You can turn the pulley by hand, and if it makes noise, there could be an obstruction in the motor, the blower wheel, or the bearing of the motor. If that part was bad, you would need to replace the motor, but is very rare. And these are all the major things I would look for on a Whirlpool front-load dryer like this making noise. It's usually a physical obstruction causing the issue and should be rather apparent to see. So let's go ahead and reassemble and test the unit for noise. To reassemble the dryer, we're going to put the belt and drum back in the way we removed it. By using the belt to maneuver it into place, it'll fit between the bulkhead and the two roller wheels at the back of the dryer. Next, you need to thread the belt onto the motor pulley, then press the idler pulley to the right to create tension for the belt like you see here in the video. If the belt is properly installed on the tensioner and motor pulley, you can turn the drum by hand and ensure that there are no noises or obstructions. The blower housing should move while you move the drum, and I like doing this just to make sure everything's put back together to this point. Next, you need to mount the bulkhead on the front of the dryer chassis. Remember, there are two small fingers on the chassis that hold the top of the bulkhead into place, at least on this style unit. It can take a bit of maneuvering to get everything lined up, by the way. One note on this type of unit is that the bottom doesn't have latches on it similar to the top. The bulkhead will have two roller wheels on the rear side of it that line up and insert to the front lip of the drum. Sometimes you have to pop the bulkhead into place by turning the drum while you slowly push the bottom of the bulkhead rearward. Next, go ahead and install the 4 screws in each corner of the bulkhead. One on the top left, right, and then the 2 bottom ones. And remember that these are 1/4 inch hex head screws. On this one, I had the blower cover removed separately when I removed it, so I'm reinstalling the bulkhead by itself. There are 4 screws, left, right, middle, and bottom. You may only need to have reinstalled the bottom one depending on how your model looked. Also, I forgot to film it, but go ahead and reinstall the moisture sensor harness from the bulkhead to the chassis. The bottom piece of the latch requires feeding the lip of this bar into the blower housing and securing it to the bottom of the chassis. Then screw 1 screw into the rear of the blower assembly. Yours could be different, but this is what this newer style Whirlpool dryer had on it for reference. Next, I'm installing the top bracing back to the unit. It has small metal fingers on each side that need latched into place. Once aligned, there are then 2 screws on each side that need installed, one on the front of each side of the bracing, then self-tapping screws on the top where the plastic bars are located. Next, you'll begin to secure the front of the dryer onto the bulkhead. The first step will be to get the door switch to thread back through the left side of the bulkhead to the rear of the unit. Once done, the front will need to line up correctly with the 3 small fingers that are on the bracing that we just installed. They're rather small in my case and were bent slightly, so I had to move them with needle nose pliers in order for the front to mount. This is the location of those 3 small fingers that I mentioned that the front will need to mount on. There may be others on different styles, but this was something kind of new I don't see on many of these Whirlpool dryers. Next, go ahead and install the screws to the top and also the underneath of the machine. You could tilt yours back to make it easy to access those 4 screws underneath, but again, it depends on your unit. You then have the 3 screws up at the top as well, near the 3 fingers that I just mentioned that the front needs to mount on. Then finally, you have the 2 screws that were Phillips head screws that need installed. The front then should be fully installed and we're ready to finish the last few things on the dryer. Make sure that the door switch harness is reinstalled to the control board at this stage. You can then thread the interface wire through the front bracing and install the interface to the top of the dryer front. There are 4 slots for the board to rest in, and the interface should slot in pretty easily to this area. There are 2 screws, one on each side of the interface at the top that need installed. And then you can go and reinstall the wire of the interface into the control board. Remember the push mount cable tie as well, and you're now ready to test the dryer if you'd like. Hopefully all these things helped you find your issue. Often again, it's part of the roller and pulley system that goes bad or an obstruction. I will have a link to all the kits we used to repair the dryer in the description, the comments, and then also if there's a pop-up, we'll try to get that in there too. I hope you have a great day.